The Holocaust was the mass killing of Jews by the Nazis during World War II. By November of 1944, more than 1 million Jews and tens of thousands of Poles and Soviet prisoners of war had been killed. Debbie Bornstein Holinstat is the co-author of Survivors Club, a book. It's hard to get through this, Debbie. It's hard to even read this. It's a book you wrote with your father, Michael Bornstein, a survivor of the Holocaust. And Debbie will be talking about her dad's journey tomorrow at a luncheon that is open to the public. We'll get to that in just a moment. All of this ahead of Holocaust Remembrance Day this Saturday. You know, when you read what humans did to humans and that millions perished just at the hands of evil, it just makes you just can't breathe, basically. And you lived it with your family. You lived hearing the stories and your father's history, and your father is still living. So before we get to all the events Saturday, tell us briefly about your dad and what his family went through.
You know, it's funny, you say I grew up living it and knowing about it, but the truth is, my dad didn't really talk about the Holocaust.
Many survivors don't.
It's so true, and I understand it now why he didn't. Now that he's finally in his 70s decided to speak up. My dad used to keep his sleeve rolled down so that his tattoo would not be seen. He knew forever that he was in this iconic image from the liberation of Auschwitz. Soviet soldiers filmed him rolling up his sleeve and showing his tattoo. It's actually on the cover of our book, a picture of him, and he never talked about it. He never stepped forward and said, "I'm that little boy." And
well, I understand he saw himself. He saw a baby, a 4-year-old image of him, and he said, okay, I guess I might as well start talking and recognize that that was him during the liberation.
Yeah, he finally, I think it was a combination of things. I think part of it was we were learning more information. Whether he liked it or not, his kids were pushy, and we started learning more about these miraculous miracles. You know, these miracles that happened that led him to survive for 6 months in the most notorious death camp in world history. We found documents at Yad Vashem in Israel that showed he missed the death march because he was hiding in the infirmary. And the fact that he was so ill at the very end saved his life. And so we started learning this, and his grandchildren started pushing him to talk. And he finally realized, especially given the political environment today, he cannot stay quiet. Right now we live in a world where political reality is distorted within minutes after things happen. So if he doesn't speak up, how easy will it be for history, long gone history, to be distorted?
Very little time left, but was there a chapter in the book as you were writing this with your dad? Is there a story that stood out with you?
There's one thing that it was one of the most important moments to me on the journey. My father doesn't remember his own father. He can't even remember his own father's face, right? But what we learned is that his father was president of the Judenrat. He had a leadership position within the ghetto among the Jews. And he was able to use that position to bribe Nazis, not just to save my family's life, but he was so brave that he saved hundreds of other lives. And to be able to go to my dad and say, guess what? Not only do you have a picture of your dad now, you know your dad was a hero. That was like, I'll never forget that.
No, you never will. And you're also clutching something else you'll never forget.
This is, I'm so afraid I'll lose this, a treasured family possession. My father's mother survived. It's, again, another miracle. In the book, they were reunited. It was an incredible moment. And their house had been taken in their hometown. In Poland. They had nothing. But they returned to their house. My grandmother snuck into the backyard one night, and she dug because she knew they had hidden treasured belongings. And she found the makeshift vault.
I just have to touch it. Wow.
Please, please. Everything in the vault, all their money they had hidden away was stolen. But this Kiddush cup, nobody wanted, a Jewish artifact. So we have this.
And you have that. Would never, ever lose that. The luncheon is tomorrow. It's open to the public. You'll hear so much more from Debbie. It's just a story we all need to know and hear and listen to more. I know you travel with your dad. These details are on our website, WPTV.com. The next time you're with him in our area, please, we would want to talk to both of you.
Thank you so much. We will be back in just a couple months. Yeah.
And tell him he's a hero from all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here.